People often forget just how special community gardens can be. They're a space where individuals or groups can come together and they cultivate plants, fruits, vegetables, herbs, and it's all in a shared space. In modern day society, this is a pretty rare physical space, and oftentimes, especially here in the US, that space is taken away or monetized. So I just want to take the next few minutes and go over just how special community gardens can be for individuals and for communities as a whole, and why I think at least we should have more of them in the US and around the world. They serve as a place for people to connect with nature, to grow their own food, learn about gardening, and also build a sense of community, right? I'm an introvert, but there's space for everyone at the community garden. So that is what's pretty cool. So this is a shared space. Community gardens are shared spaces, and so that does require some organizing, that does require some coordination and collaboration. Now, community gardens can be set up in different ways. They can be set up where everyone is gardening the same plot. So maybe take it half an acre, a quarter acre, and everyone's working the same plot or same garden. Others, they have separate plots or allotments, and you have your own fenced off space. But whatever the setup is, it still takes coordination and working together, right? Because it is a shared space. And they provide a common area where people can come together to garden and do so much more, right? Most importantly, especially as we're seeing these monoculture and corporate food structures struggle with climate change, they do provide a space for food production, right? This is healthy, oftentimes organic food, and local food, right? So community gardens do promote local food production. They do allow individuals and families to grow their own fresh produce, which is, for many people, very important. Some do it as a hobby, but some quite literally do it to feed themselves and their loved ones. And this is true in both urban and rural areas, right? Another great aspect of community gardens is the education and skill building aspect, right? Not only are you yourself learning new things, but you can teach others and learn from others in these shared spaces, right? So you learn about new gardening techniques, you can learn new sustainable practices, you can learn new information about environmental stewardship, all great things, right? And in my next video, I think I'm going to talk about how community gardens can create connections with the community at large. But that mentioning education just brought to mind how community gardens can partner with schools. But we can talk about that another day. Connecting back to the local food production, this can be improved nutrition and health. When people grow their own food, they have access to fresh, organic produce, which again can bring about a healthier diet and a healthier lifestyle. Gardening also provides that physical activity and stress relief, so this is kind of addressing that whole body, mind, and spirit approach to life, right? There are environmental benefits to community gardens, right? They help beautify urban spaces and rural spaces. It's an added green area or green space. It can help improve air quality. It can be a space where biodiversity is increased. It can also be like a biodiversity island in an urban area, right? Especially if there's like a pond or a water source there, right? This can be an area where a lot of different species are safe, especially if this is an organic garden where there aren't any pesticides, herbicides, or insecticides. They can also help be the space for local sustainability efforts, right? So they do provide that space for a lot of different efforts. Now, on the social aspect of sides, community gardens do help bring about social connections and community building, right? So community gardens create opportunities for people to meet and interact with their neighbors. Oftentimes, in our individualistic lifestyles, you might not have that opportunity, but that community garden is that shared space and can provide that space for building friendships, promoting cultural exchange, and strengthening community bonds as a whole. And therapeutic benefits, right? Gardening, as many of us know, has been shown to have therapeutic effects, promoting relaxation, stress reduction, and mental well-being. So that is another plus for the community and for the gardeners, right? I also like to highlight how it can bring about a sense of belonging for many of the community members, right? By participating in a community garden and what it has to offer, this can develop a sense of belonging for many, and also a sense of ownership, not only in their community garden, but a sense of ownership in their community as a whole. Not only are they invested in the garden's success, but they're also more invested in the community as a whole. So that's pretty neat. And I also want to circle back to the skill sharing and the education point. And this will be my last point. Sorry, I'll end this ramble. But the skill sharing and the learning, there's so much to be learned from the veteran gardeners at the community garden, and there's such an opportunity for beginner gardeners and veteran gardeners and everyone in between to collaborate, share that knowledge, and to pass it on to the community. And I think that is just super, super valuable and often overlooked. And unfortunately, it doesn't always happen in all community gardens, but the space is provided there, and there is an opportunity for it. If you enjoyed this information and content, please like and subscribe, and hopefully you will tune in for the next video. Thank you.